Hi there, it's Christy here. I'm a member of the Other Today Distributed Design Studio, and I'm just going to talk you through the work I've been up to for the last few weeks.
Our first instruction was to set up somewhere at home where we could be creative and work.
There's not a whole lot of space here, so it was quite tricky to make all of this work, but I've got more or less everything I need. I've got headphones, monitor, webcam, houseplants, pens and paper. These have got all of the useful bits and pieces that you might need for making cardboard, odd little tools, that sort of thing. And then obviously I've got reference materials, books, and that kind of stuff. The trickiest bit was the desk. This whole thing has to be suspended, nothing can be mounted to the walls, but it's surprisingly strong.
Next, we were asked to select a product and produce a hand-drawn supply chain. I chose ice cubes. I thought that might be quite simple, but I wanted to see how complex the supply chain could be for a simple product. I spoke to the manufacturer in Yorkshire to find out about their specific method of production. Initially, my supply chain started with them extracting the water from their on-site spring and then going through the production process. I was reminded that it is worth thinking about where the water comes from, as that is an integral part of the success of the supply chain for the ice cubes. I did some research into the weather patterns and geography of the surrounding area to determine how the water cycle worked. This was a useful exercise in demonstrating the complexity that might be behind some products that seem very simple. It was also a reminder that we should consider the natural systems that support the industrial systems. Third, we were asked to produce a Petrocuture presentation where each one of the 20 slides represented a fact that was loosely associated to the previous one. I tried to limit the research time for each fact to about a half an hour to an hour. At the end of that time, I'd review the new facts that I'd uncovered and then choose the most interesting one as the new starting point. It was important to remember that the task was about learning and utilising divergent research styles. It wasn't about finding interesting links. I found this quite hard. I would often find a new fact and then immediately begin to formulate the link to another fact that I already knew. Because of this, I ended up with about 3 versions, and I had to be very strict with myself and almost use like tunnel vision to forget what I already knew. The most recent project was to develop a product or process using a single sheet of material that is cost effective and waste efficient. I knew that I wanted to hack into a waste stream and ideally utilise waste that is already in a sheet form. With 152 million per year ending up in landfill and no viable way of recycling, I decided to use inner tubes. In my experiments, I tried melting, shredding, cutting, stretching, pinching and folding to examine how the material could be manipulated. I also tried filling with soil, plaster and cement, but it was hard to provide the pressure required to fill completely without air pockets and irregularities. The process I have developed is the filling of the tubes under pressure, which when hung to dry produce consistent tubular parabolic cement forms.